Sir, can you tell me, sir, your first job would be to ensure that your house is in order, because only then can you talk about a business interruption policy or a business continuity plan or take care of your clients, sir. So is it not difficult to manage both the aspects, sir?
Okay, thank you, Professor, and it's a pleasure being with all of you. An interesting topic you have: business continuity. Can insurance offer the necessary succor?
Yes, sir.
Succor is a pun, no, can be used interestingly. So, business continuity, can insurance be the necessary succor? No.
Absolutely.
If I look at worldwide after the pandemic, I think I felt that everybody wanted insurance to pay for everything, no,
Yes.
and nobody wanted to pay the premium initially when there was no risk, no. So I think the way insurance be looked at, and it happens historically, is that they be the necessary succor when things go wrong, no. I think that has to change first and foremost, no, and that's part of the answer that you were asking me too. Now let's look at the Indian context also. When COVID happened, the regulator came out with very clear instruction that insurance companies have to offer COVID cover. And I'm so proud of the industry in India. You asked this question to Sajeev in terms of the Indian industry. All of us came out with COVID cover and we sold it. Not a single reinsurer supported that. And we mentioned to the regulator also that they should actually ask reinsurers to support that. They did not. Purely on the net, we sold, claim ratio shooting at 300%, no, and we stood by. I think the industry, which has a combined ratio at 160 and 70%, did not hesitate to provide no cover for COVID, knowing fully well what the repercussion would be, and they're not prepared to do and get the pricing also right because it was so short and such an unprecedented time. It's I think these things one has to notice that the way the industry stands up in times of crisis, no, and to some it may look like a sucker, but knowing fully well also, I don't think the industry bats an eyelid. Even today, getting a reinsurance cover for COVID is not so easy. No, the industry takes it on the net and supports people. That's the first point. The second point is, if you look at the premium for COVID cover, something like 7 rupees for the entire year, no, for about 2 to 3 lakh rupees of sum insured. Phenomenal, right, Professor? Like when this gets launched and anybody can get COVID, you'd expect the servers of insurance company to crash. No,
yes,
like there are crores of people who are not insured, but at high risk. The industry, poor industry, is so happy with the 40% growth in health and saying, wow, we have very good growth in health. You know, it's before COVID, there are 25% growth in health.
absolutely.
Just 20% increase. There's no increase in awareness. But when things go wrong, the expectation that the industry should stand up, no, and pay for claims for which people are not paid premium. And that is where the Wimbledon example which Sanjeev gave was such an exceptionally good example. The message is that everything can be covered. No, even COVID cover was there. That's what the Wimbledon claim got paid up. It's not there.
Absolutely.
It was always
Absolutely.
there. How many industrialists or their risk managers thought of taking this cover? And I said in one of the forums, the cover is available even now. How many business houses are actually taking a pandemic cover now when they're renewing the policies? How many? Let's say either Rakesh is there, Don Sanjay is there. Is the cover not is there? The insurance industry has the solution. They have the cover. The point is, how many are ready to pay the premium to be covered? But when an incident happens, then the entire media hysteria, the entire news, and be it US or be it India, it's not about any country. The industry has to pay. And that is why the word succor to me is very, very interesting, the way you can play as a pun on it. So thank you for this topic. I loved it. So that is
Thank
how
you, sir. Thank you, sir. In fact, when you talked about India and US, I was just reminded of the statement that Mr. Donald Trump had come up with, if you remember, in case of business interruption, that irrespective of the cover, the claims should be paid.
Exactly.
I mean, a statement coming from a head of a state on such a sensitive issue, it literally goes beyond the imagination. But you are absolutely correct.
It just talks about the awareness level of insurance. See, that is where the problem is, and that is why when you hold such forums, get people to listen to it. It's critical. People don't understand that the insurance industry can provide cover. They can do your business continuity. In fact, if you look at the COVID scenario in India, what went wrong? If you look at for a phenomenal lockdown, migrant laborers, there was not thought through, no solution, and sudden desperation, of movement got the spread of COVID all across. If there may be one or two regions, but one of the major regions migrant labor. Let us say if the cover was available, that during a scenario like this, forget about everything else, you would take care of standing charges, no, which is there, no, and migrant laborers could have been paid, no, for the period because you would have an insurance cover on that.
Correct.
A kind of catastrophe which happened because of the migrant labor shift and the kind of human pain that people went through would have been avoided. So my point is, what I want to say is that insurance should be taken more seriously than the way it is taken. It is relegated to the last priority as a cost negotiation when a premium is being paid, no, and at individual level also, not talking about the corporates also, at individual levels also, how many of us can say that we are well covered, no, be it home insurance or health or PA or no,
Correct.
how many of us can say that, no? I think it is something which should be brought to the table more seriously in terms of how we look at it.
Sir, you are responsible for a lot of problems that the insurance companies, employees, customers, and well-wishers are facing. You have raised the bar. You see, Magic is one of the more employee-friendly, customer-friendly companies. And I guess that is one of the reasons, sir, that people expect a lot much more from you. Because when we talk about the, how should I phrase it, the poster boy of the general insurance company, sir, Mr. Tapan Singhal comes to the fore, sir. Now, sir, in such a situation, sir, what proactive steps do you think you should be taking so that the level of expectation of your employees, as also the customers, sir, particularly in these difficult times, are taken care of, sir?
Thank you for your kind words, Professor. In fact, to answer Sanjeev's question, I can sue Professor even now if it gets hacked, no? So he has going to have financial loss. And we're not insured with Bajaj Insurance Company. I am to ensure that I get the best lawyers and no and sue him really hard.
Absolutely.
Now, coming to your question, I think all of us do a brilliant job, Professor. I think that's why I have a lot of respect for the insurance industry, and because your students will be listening to it, there's one statement I always make, that we get paid to do good. I think you have to be blessed to be an insurer, because I think you take care of people when things go wrong and you stand by them and you get actually paid for that. Where do you get paid for doing such a noble cause? I think that is something which is there, and that is the driving force that is there for me, and that is why I've been an insurer, I've been an insurer till the last breath of my life, because I won't do any other work. I love it so much. Now, coming to people, customers, and to our entire business process, how it is going. See, first and foremost, it's people. In any company, if your people are not passionate, if they're not happy, then your customers can never be happy, is my belief. So as leaders, I think our obsession with the people has to be of the highest order. Now, it's an amazing situation for leaders to be in. In our entire living memory, we have never seen a crisis which has been so long. No, I think nobody can tell when it's going to end. I think some journalists may be able to guess, but I think no sensible statistician will be able to give any kind of statistics or data that, okay, this is the day this is going to be over. So the point remains is that if I look at the initial phase, let's break it into 3 phases. When COVID happened, the initial excitement of a crisis was immense. Everybody was excited. We'll overcome. We shall do this. We'll do that. We'll serve our people. And like Rakesh mentioned, as insurers, we have to serve people, pay claims. Nothing should stop. I think unimaginable resilience, excitement, passion was visible, amongst people who were serving. And I think it is phenomenal. I think we underestimate the power of people, how much they can deliver, and beyond our own expectation. That was the first thing which came. The second phase, when COVID started hitting people we knew, when death started happening, I think that is where fear started coming in, and the stress and the fatigue started building in. I think if you take the second phase, that is where, and third is obviously you have no clue when it ends. So acceptance of life, of leading life, the way it is, starts coming in. Now, this is where it's very critical for organizations and leaders to be able to provide an environment in which the employee feels safe, and employee feels something goes wrong, we'll be there. Let's look at COVID. Another thing which was very funny also and very sad. The kind of stigma that was there with COVID. Somebody had COVID, everybody was shunning away. Imagine somebody does self-quarantine. How does food reach the person? How does medicine reach the person? And you never know, tomorrow it could be you. How do you provide an environment where the people whom you know, if somebody has COVID, you're able to ensure that you are able to provide assistance, doctoral, medical, food. I think that is what we all did. I think we were very sure and very clear. And I said, I'll lead from the front. And in fact, one place I was ready to go in the very early stage and myself deliver medicine, food to one of my employees who had COVID. I was so very clear that we have to lead from the front, and this is something which can happen to anybody, and it's seen from very sympathetic perspective and not from a shun and fear perspective. I think that was the first thing which we imbibed, and I'm very happy to say that all my employees, and be it for my agents or be it for customers, they come to know they're happy to serve from the front, and they've been doing that. That was the first thing. The second thing was from a customer perspective. See, right now, looking into fine prints, to decide what is to happen. Let's say we try to negotiate rates with hospital for COVID. They didn't agree to the rates. And our cash flow is getting a problem. So at times we went beyond the agreement and ensure the customer does not suffer. See, right now, technicalities, negotiation is fine. It's sad also, as some hospitals are overcharging, overbilling, trying to make an kill in the opportunity they see. It's a bit sad, but that's okay. That's a societal issue. But your customer is there, and you're trying to right that one time, delay things because of technicalities. That should not be done. I think at that one time, be there with the customers. Even it means that you have to go beyond what has been negotiated, and there can be times you're getting overcharged and overbilled, and you can take the fight on, and continue. But from that point of time, at the customer's level, don't hesitate. I think be there, serve the customer well. I think the COVID, you have to have high level of empathy. You have to be hugely passionate, and you should feel blessed that you have an opportunity to serve people in these times. You see the doctors, the way they're operating. It's unimaginable, Professor. 18 hours they're working. Look at their COVID duties. They're not able to eat. People are falling ill. They are risking their lives. And the biggest fatality has been for the doctors. See how they're serving. It's a time when each one of us will step forward and do that. I think that is what is something which we are very obsessed about, and that's what we've been doing, Professor.
When we say that insurance coverage without a business continuity plan implies that the business strategy is to basically, hope and pray that the event does not occur. What are your thoughts on that, sir?
I think as Indian, we have been relying on praying a lot, I think, for our entire survival, our country, our society, and everybody. So I think that reflects in all that we do. No, I think if you look at it, and that's why let me start at an individual level. And then when I speak to a corporate client also, I start from individual level. And if you actually look at it, just 3-4 covers, which is easily available, not very expensive. Your health cover, your personal accident, your term plan, your home cover, a cyber cover, retail cyber cover. I think if you have 4-5 cover broadly, I think for the majority of risk that is going to happen to you, which is going to upset you, you will be covered. Now, if you're not thinking about you as an individual, and you're not doing this for yourself, then how are you going to see, and then for your people, and then from there for your company? And let's look at the cost of it, be it for the company or be it for individual. How much will the entire this premium cost to your entire expense that you have? Forget about the earnings. I'm not even trying to take the earnings on. An insignificant portion of your expenses is insurance premium, even if you're fully covered. And then that is where you want to save cost, is where the problem starts. And the point that I was mentioning earlier also, if you look at insurance companies, they're very, very happy to provide covers up to and whatever level they can.
उसमें सर थोड़ा सा फर्क पड़ा है कल से जब आपने शेयरिंग
Sorry for that, sir.
No, this is where we sue you, so we make money. Such instances help.
Absolutely.
Now coming to the point. So the point is that if we are serious business owners and we take insurance seriously, and then we are able to run our businesses well, it is good. But to your earlier question is like that I want to fall ill because I have an insurance cover. I don't think anybody can think like that. It doesn't work. In the end of the day, you suffer whenever loss happens, and insurance can make good the losses, but the suffering is still yours. So if we do that a bit systematically, I think we would be a better individual, a better society, and a better businesses being run. And it is there. Like if you look at what Sanjeev is saying also in terms of covers, not that insurance companies can't design a cover. Like for floods also, you have parametric cover. Nagaland government is the first government is taking a parametric cover. And if you look at some of my interviews and talks, and for quite some time speaking about that, in a country like India, parametric cover should be there. If you look at Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, it is such an effective mechanism of distribution of subsidy to the end farmers. The claim ratio has been over 90%. If I look at aggregate loss ratios, imagine there's a time when I used to hear early on, people say that if 100 rupees sent by the center, 15 rupee reaches the end consumer. At a 90% plus loss ratio, you have such an effective mechanism of distribution through the insurance companies. A lot of things can be devised. A government and an insurance company partnership can do wonders for the country, is my strong belief. And it has happened also in schemes which has been run by the government. I think the kind of relief which has come through, or if you look at the health scheme, 40 crores Indians are covered, 5 lakh covered. It's phenomenal, no? And that is what has to be looked into, the serious issues. The government insurance company should sit together, find solutions, and they can do that. Even the pool can be created, a paramedic insurance can be done, business community for the country can be done. No, forget about at a company level or individual level. So I think it's just a question of how we look at it, how serious we are about it, how we want to solve it. It is something which can be solved, and it can be solved very, very well.
If I can conclude from whatever you talked about on the business continuity plan, we are basically talking about three key elements. One is resilience, of course. The second is recovery. And the third is the contingencies that we talk about, sir.
This is a wrong question to the panel. I think the panel should be asking you this question. You are the experts, no? The ones who are teaching risk, you are teaching your students, doing all the case studies, putting it together. See, companies will do their best. They'll put in the CROs, they'll put in the strategy, like Rakesh mentioned, Sanjeev mentioned. It will be something we'll be thinking about. But this you owe to us. You should send us a note after the call and say what all we should do more and what you think is your learning. You professors are the best ones on this, no? I think these are kind of unfair questions thrown at us, professors. So after seconding both the panelists, what they have said, I leave this to you. You send us a note on what you think is something that we should be doing more, what you're looking at. It's a question to you, Professor. But having said, really enjoyed being part of the panel, really great panelists, and thank you for all the lovely questions and the great time that we had.